Hey guys, Madison here, and today I am back for day number 5 of r/NuclearRevenge, and I might have broken the what seems to be like a bit of a curse on this subreddit. Although it seems to be just like the top post that I keep running into them. It's just like I was trying to avoid it, but I couldn't. Now I have, and we got 2 stories to show for it. First up, Bratty's stepsister framed my baby brother, and I snapped. At first I posted it on r/Beach, but some thought it would fit nicely here. Enjoy the quick revenge. By the way, I am trying to censor my swear words. It's only for the rest of this series. Other videos, when I get past the rest of the subreddits, I will not be censoring myself. Until 3 years ago, I lived at both of my parents, 1 week at my mum's and 1 week at my dad's. 10 years ago, so literally less than a year after the divorce, he was living with his new girlfriend, whom he was not going out with before he left my mum. Yeah, right. Said woman got 2 kids. 2 horrible entitled brats. But I can't pity them because it's their mum's fault if they're like that. Anyway, back then I was still living with my dad, his entitled narcissistic girlfriend, and her spawns of hell. Hells are spawns. The youngest, who was 8 years then, is even worse than her brother, and she did not get better growing up. When you imagine the cliche high school beachy bully girl, you see her. She was spoiled rotten by her mum, and she believes she's entitled with everything. The worst is that she's actually really pretty, academic-wise, she is doing remarkably well, she's popular, and she's captain of her school's basketball team. Now, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against achievements or successful people, but I do hate people who have everything in life and feel they have to rub it in others' faces and make them feel miserable. Gloating, nice. When this story happened, she was just 8 years old, but she was already a pain. Aged me several years just from her alone. What happened is she waited for the parents to be gone for a romantic dinner/evening, leaving me as a babysitter back when I was like 13 or 14 and had to watch 3 kids, and needless to say, I wasn't paid. Everything was going okay. She and her brother did try to trigger me, but I figured it's better to just ignore them. My little brother was in the basement playroom building Legos. About 10 minutes before the parents got back, we knew because they called to tell us they were about to get home. The shitty brat trashed her bedroom, knocked her own arm on her bedpost to get a mark, and hid her saved up money in my brother's room. When the parents arrived, the show and the crocodile tears started. She was crying and wailing that my brother hit her and stole her money. They went to my brother's room, found the money, and my little brother got badly grounded, and he wasn't given a single chance to explain or defend himself. Much later that same night, I was in my little brother's room trying to comfort him, but what do you want to say to a kid who believes his father doesn't love him? Then the little bitch creeped in and, with the worst smug grin ever, told me what she did. She said, "I remind you, she was 8 back then. Soon your dad is going to send you away to live with your stupid slutty mum. I can't wait to see you two reteed effers, forkers, get out of my house." And she left. I was furious beyond words. The next day, when kids got back home from school and the parents were still at work, I was doing the dishes of the morning because my stepmom and her kids never cleaned up after themselves. The little brat came by and complained how lousy a maid I was, and she said, "You're almost as retard and useless as your brother." She almost spat the last word and taunted me, saying that it was just a matter of time before my dad sent him to an asylum for retard people like him, as she said. I'm not a violent person, but I couldn't stand it anymore. I grabbed her by the collar of her shirt, slammed her against the wall, and took a knife to her throat and said, "Listen to me, you little beach. I'm done with your short..." You want to pick on somebody? Fine. Come after me. But if you ever do something to my little brother, if you ever insult, hurt, or frame him ever again, I will kill you. And don't worry, I don't care about going to jail if it means the world is rid of the waste of a human you are. My life is heck as it is, and my little brother is the one good thing I got left, and I'll be damned if you torment him. Got it? And I pressed the knife on her throat. Enough to hurt, but not enough to draw blood. She was petrified, her eyes wide with pure terror. It was the first time, and the last, that she saw me angry. She never bullied my brother after that, or me for that matter, and she never told the parents. Every once in a while doing the dishes, I'd grab a knife and smile at her. I told my brother years later, and he told me he knew I had done something because, okay, proud sister moment here. You've always protected me, and I don't need a shorty dad when I got a superhero for a big sister. I cried and I regret nothing. Why? Why did this 8-year-old feel like she had to frame a little kid for beating her up and taking her money? It's like, it'd be more logical to frame the babysitter. Like, why target the little kid and not the older sister? Why? I'm never gonna understand why people do that. Also, sorry if it sounds egotistic. Didn't mean it that way. Grandma placed a sweet old lady facade and destroyed them all. I originally posted this on r/ProRevenge, but it got deleted and I'm not really sure why because I'm new here. So yeah, someone suggested that I post this here too. So here it goes. If you guys read this on ProRevenge, I corrected the Enigma thing. Thank you for clarifying it up. And those who asked about SF's job, this will be a really long one, TLDR at the bottom. Obligatory apology for 2 reasons. English isn't my first language, so any grammatical error is expected, and I'm on mobile. The characters. UH, ugly gardening tool. CM, ex-fiance's can't mother. SF, spineless ex-fiance. Oh, I'm now having to come up with unique words for such bad language. My boyfriend and I were together for 9 years. On our 7th anniversary, he proposed and I said yes. But we decided that we'd get married after 2 years so that we'd have time to save up for the wedding and our future kids, etc. Our families were ecstatic, except for his mother. I don't know why, but she never liked me since day one, and she was not shy in showing it, i.e. incessantly accusing me of being a hole. Well, go horse, but mainly being a gold digger. I'm not trying to brag, but I earn more than her son, and this will be important later on. I came from a well-off and respected family in our community. Whilst preparing for the wedding, his mum took pleasure in being a goddamn pain in the butt. CM would make changes about the details in the wedding without informing me or a precious boy, such as informing a guest that their invitations were revoked to accommodate her chosen guest, whom I've never met or heard about before, mess with the seating arrangements, and change the menu and arrangements, etc. I had to pay twice, motherfucking twice, just to revert the changes she made. Of course, it did not sit well with her, so being the ever-mature adult that she is, she cried and threw a tantrum. A fucking tantrum! I'm not a confrontational person, and I easily get anxious when I feel tension arise. Thank God SF's grandparents from fiance's father's side were really lovely people. And of course, my beautiful grandma. They were the main reason why I was able to put up with the bullshit she was doing. Belittling was one of her hobbies, so it did not come as a surprise when she berated me about my wedding dress, which was gorgeous, by the way, and it was handmade by my mum's best friend, who's like my second mother. It took a year and 3 months to finish the dress. In short, the dress was really, really special to me. I never ever raised my voice, nor said anything negative about CM. But the straw that broke the camel's back was when she stole my wedding dress 2 months before the wedding and destroyed it because she didn't like the design. I had a full-on anxiety attack when I found out about what she'd done, and whilst my anxiety attack, she never lifted a finger to help, but she was on her usual routine, calling my anxiety attack as a cry for attention, and that I was just being over-dramatic. It was too late to fix the dress, so I ended up buying a new wedding dress. By this time, we were way over our budget for the wedding because of this monster. Wedding day comes, lo and behold, my dashing fiance was a no-show. No one knew where he was, and no one could reach him. I was devastated, a crying mess. And of course, CM Voyer was a perfect opportunity to just mock me and verbally attack me. TBH, it still hurts me every time I remember this. Up to this day, I honestly believe nothing will ever make me feel so pathetic. I show up to work the following day, desperately trying to distract myself from all the fiasco. And 3 days later, I found out that he had been cheating on me for a year with a mutual friend. The worst part was we all worked at the same place. As I said, I am not a confrontational person, so I did my best to avoid them and avoid the drama. But UH started tormenting me by purposely showing off how sweet SF was. How he treated her like a princess. Topped with nauseating public display of affection, and was spreading rumors and talking short about me just to get me riled up, but it didn't work. UH, with the help of CM, started targeting my family. As I had mentioned, my family is well respected in our community, and everyone knew what went down between us, so some of our close friends informed us about H's malicious comments about our family. Of course, my fiance, being the ever spineless bitch he is, did nothing and sided with his new hoe. I am really close with my grandma. She was the one who raised me when both my parents died. I love and respect the woman. She is an epitome of what a classy woman is. She has this aura that was really kind and comforting, but can be really intimidating when the situation calls for it. Which is why she is well respected and loved in our community. She always had a smile on her face and treated everyone well. If it wasn't for her, I don't think I'd make it after all that had happened to me. So when H started bad-mouthing her, I was hell-bent on destroying her and my spineless and buttless beach ex-fiance. I was beyond furious at this point. Thus I started scheming on how I planned to drag them down. I talked to my grandma about it, but she convinced me not to do so, and that I should just leave our hometown for a while to take a breather and take some time to heal myself, etc. After weeks and weeks of discussions, and I eventually saw how everything that had happened and currently happening was taking a toll on my mental and emotional health, I conceded defeat to my grandmother's idea. So I left. I didn't contact anyone from hometown except my grandma, of course. 2 years passed and I received an invitation for our high school reunion. By this time, I've been really missing my friends and family, so I decided it was high time to return and reconnect with my old friends and family. Everyone was surprised to see me, but everyone was really warm and welcoming. It suddenly felt like I was back home. Everything was going well. I was in line to get a refill of my drink when I overheard two girls blabbering about H was pregnant and the father of the child married man. I was curious as fuck, but decided not to pry about, since I no longer wanted to be on the loop about whatever was going on about them. The following day, I met up with my favorite cousin, and my curiosity got the best of me, so I asked him about what went on when I left. And oh boy, I was not ready for the tea. My grandma always had a gleeful disposition. She always greeted everyone and engaged in small talks with anyone. But apparently, when I left, she started to act differently. This happy grandma from the next door was gone. She always had a gloomy smile. Even the way she talks changed. She talked about how bad she felt for me, how she was hurting so much that me, her precious granddaughter, was going through such a rough time, how it broke her heart knowing that she couldn't do anything to ease my pain. People around us knew Grandma was as someone who hates to be seen as weak and helpless, thus it was truly a heartbreaking surprise when they saw Grandma in such a state. Despite her lamenting about my unfortunate situation, she had nothing but kind words for SF, CM, and UH. Everyone revered me and my grandma for handling the situation ever so gracefully. Their words, not mine. Despite all the bad blood, we took the high road. Now people started treating SF and CM differently. They became a social pariah. After hearing what both SF and CM did and how they treated me, especially CM, most family members cut their ties with them. CM's husband, a good man but very timid, apparently was my grandma's student and filed for a divorce that declared CM could have whatever she wanted for the marriage as long as he doesn't have to deal with her anymore. As for SF, most of our mutual friends sided with me through the ordeal. SF was being groomed to be promoted for a takeover as the department chief, and this was huge because if it went through, SF would be the youngest chief in the company's history. But due to what happened and the fact that his boss, my mum's second husband, was a close family friend of ours, it all went down the drain. SF was not fired from his job because boss thought it would be such an easy way out, and because my grandma spoke to boss that firing SF would be wrong and unprofessional, and again, playing her sweet old lady card. UH was caught having an affair with one of her bosses. Unfortunately, this boss of hers was married. The wife found out about the affair, but didn't know who the third party was. Obviously, the divorce papers were filed, and both parties agreed that it was a no-fault divorce, until the wife received incriminating evidences of both UH and the boss, which were sent anonymously. Grandma hired a private investigator to collect enough evidence to incriminate both UH and boss. Not only did the wife sue for 80% of their property, but she also filed a case to have UH's license to be revoked on grounds of moral turpitude. As the investigation went on, they found out that UH and boss had been stealing from the company. One thing people did not know about my grandma is that she's really conniving. She knows how to play that sweet lady card all too well. TLDR, fiance was a no-show on our wedding day. 3 days after the whole fiasco, I found out that he had been cheating on me for a year with one of our mutual friends. Grandma pretends to be a sweet old lady, made it her mission to destroy their lives one by one. That's a good grandma right there. Just absolutely destroying it. Destroying a whole family. Oh, we got an update. My grandma had just told me she saw UH at the grocery store and decided to have a small talk with her. She approached UH with a smile on her face and a bottle of olive oil on her left hand. My grandma is very soft-spoken, with a huge, sickly sweet smile. She proceeded to talk short about UH. Of course, UH being UH, was peeved off and started yelling at my grandma. A fellow shopper saw what went on and called the manager and the security. When the manager asked about what happened, UH began furiously explaining and repeating what my grandma had just said to her. My awesome grandma then put on her gloomy smile and said that I approached her because I wanted to know if this was the right kind of cooking oil I was looking for. I couldn't read the label since I forgot my glasses at home. I'm sorry, miss. I didn't mean to bother you. I just needed some help. This infuriated UH. The manager turned to UH and said, Ma'am, the old lady just needed some help, and I'm pretty sure she would leave you alone if you just tell her you did not want to be bothered. My grandma then said, It's alright, sir. I was at fault here. Again, I'm sorry, miss. I hope you have a lovely day ahead. Everyone who saw the commotion gave UH dirty looks at the grocery store, and some were really sweet and offered to assist and accompany my grandma while doing her groceries. I fucking love this woman. I know that I'll never be as cool as she is. Oh, okay. And oh my gosh, that is a really good grandma right there. Just you gotta know how to play your cards right. Whether it's a game or life. Or the game of life. Anyways, I'm going to end this episode here. Links will be in the description to my main channel and also the second channel, along with links on the screen to the playlist and the last episode. Go check them out. There's over 120 episodes at this point. Well, at the time this one goes up, it'll be over 120 episodes. Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. A ding, a ding. I'm Mad Scientist. Mad Scientist out.